Welcome to Table Tennis Philosophy, and the place where every time you show up, you get a participation trophy. Congratulations once again. All right, today we're going to talk about the very exciting push shot, backhand push, forehand push, and what you really need to know about it. And it may not be exactly what you think. First of all, let me say the most important thing that I ever learned about effectively pushing is that in order to make sure you get the ball back over the net, which is going to be the first priority, getting it over the net and on the table, your racket angle is going to be very, very important. And if you don't get underneath the ball, very good chance you'll end up putting it in the net. But what about you get your racket angle apparently right, you get under the ball and you still put it into the net? In that case, believe it or not, you're going to need to get to the front of the ball. You'd have to scoop all the way underneath it. If you do that, you'll put very, very few balls into the net. That would be the first thing. A way to practice this is to play a match or play a game with an opponent, and where the rules are all you can do is push. So it could be a backhand push, it could be a forehand push. You have to serve with underspin and see how well you do. And it's a shot that is somewhat fallen out of favor because everybody wants to open up into topspin, and the modern game does require that quite a bit. But inevitably, you're going to need to push sometimes. The best players I know, when they do push, they push very, very effectively. They push aggressively, but there's a variety of different types of pushes. You can push aggressively and push to the corners to get a point. But like I said, the first priority is you've got to get it over the net. You got to learn to be able to control it well enough to at least get it over. I still believe that a push is primarily a defensive shot, and it's not the perfect shot all the time because a poor push to your opponent's forehand can usually be looped very easily. So you don't want to overuse it, but you will need it sometimes. Now, what about when you're playing somebody who all they want to do is push and you want to try to get out of that? If you've got good looping shots, that's definitely the way to go. Even at that, you probably have to choose your moments, because people that push that often usually push pretty well. They push in good places, maybe a little bit heavier spin than you're used to seeing with some of the pushes. But rolling it up into topspin with a forehand or backhand loop, or just if you have pips, more of a rolling shot going upward, opening up into topspin is the goal. It's what you want to do. But I've got a couple tricks that I can do when somebody is just pushing, and one of them is to try to get them out of that. Let's just assume I've got smooth rubber on both sides, and rather than try to out-push them, try to put a little bit of a side spin or a bump. Try not to just match them push for push, but try to give them some side spin pushes, or even, if possible, to bump the ball. You don't hear people talking about bumping very much, but it does tend to make the pusher push the next one. They'll continue to try to push it if that's their game, to push it up a little bit higher. At that point, it's going to be much, much easier for you to go ahead and open up or attack with topspin. Other trick is if you do have pips, long pips in particular, underspin's not a problem, because your normal shot will put that ball up into topspin. And that may or may not be helpful depending on who your opponent is, but let's just say you're using short or medium pips, is like what I'm using. All right, if I'm push, 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 flip over, then push one time with the pips, again, the ball, they can push it if they want, but the ball will then come up. Much easier ball to attack than a low push that's going to require a very good looping shot to get it back. So my point is, pushes are not dead. They're still out there. People use them more than you would think, and especially in your intermediate levels, you're going to have to be able to push as well as the best pushers out there, or at the very least figure out a way to get out of that pushing game. And remember, if you're pushing a lot into the net, scoop under them, wrap around the ball. That will get them over and is going to create a good touch for you. All right, see you next time. Appreciate you watching. Thanks.